Hi, and welcome to Hill and Ponton Social Security Disability Blog. I'm Natalia Jofre. I'm the director for our Social Security section.
And I am Shelly Mark. I'm the senior Social Security attorney.
So today we're going to be talking about one of the benefits you can potentially qualify for under the Social Security Disability Program, and that is disability insurance benefits. The acronym is DIB, and a lot of people like to refer to it as regular disability, and it's because disability insurance benefits, people think that that encompasses all of the benefits. In reality, that is the name of the one regular benefit.
Right.
So one of the basic criteria is to qualify for regular disability. It would be that you have to have worked and paid into Social Security taxes
Right.
for at least 5 out of the last 10 years.
And that's a really big one, Natalia, because I've had friends, family, clients that have needed to file for disability, and for the right reasons. They were very sick or whatever it may be, and they really did not realize that they had to have worked 5 out of the past 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
They thought maybe because they had worked 20 years and they had stopped that they would still be eligible, and that is not the case. So it is really important to realize that you have to have worked 5 out of the most recent past 10 years to be eligible.
And what you do is when you're working and paying into Social Security taxes, you're earning what are called earnings quarters. And you have to make a certain amount. So it can't just be, well, I worked from January through March, that's a quarter of the year, I should get a quarter for that year. No, if you made $500, you're not going to have enough for an earnings quarters,
Right.
an earnings quarter. You need to make somewhere in the ballpark, let's say, of $1,300. But if you work and let's say you make $8,000 for the whole year and you make that money just in 1 month, like we see this all the time with real estate agents. Like
Right.
they'll get a nice hefty commission check in November, and maybe it's for like $8,000, and that will pay for their quarters for the whole year.
Right.
So it doesn't have to be that you work the whole year, even if you made the amount in one particular month, but it was high enough and you paid Social Security taxes on that money, it could give you earnings quarters for the whole year.
Right.
So that when you're talking about working 5 out of the last 10 years, that's what they're looking at. How many earnings quarters do you have? The other thing is that there's a 5-month waiting period.
That's correct, too. Basically, Social Security is going to owe you benefits from your onset date or the day that you're alleging you became disabled until when they're actually paying you, but there is a 5-month waiting period, and that's a rule that's across the board. It's for everyone that is approved for disability benefits. It just means that for the first 5 months, you're not going to be entitled to payment.
Yeah, and the other alternative would be, let's say you waited to apply. They're going to apply, it's either going to be a 5-month waiting period or 1 year prior to your date of application, and that's in order for them to start paying you. Why do they do that? And one of the most important things, and it'll be the note that we end on, you will be penalized by Social Security if you wait to apply. So the specific reason they have that rule in place is, let's say you became disabled in 2011, okay? And let's say maybe you were a housewife and your husband was doing well and you didn't really feel the need to apply for benefits and he was making more than enough money. So even though you were disabled, you just didn't apply for benefits. And now his situation has changed. Maybe, he got another job, he's making a lot less money, and so now you're like, oh, now we need that extra income. Let me go ahead and file for my disability benefits. Well, Social Security isn't going to pay you all the way back to 2011 because you chose not to apply. They're going to look at when did your disability actually start, when did you apply for benefits, and then even if you were disabled since 2011, they're only going to pay you 1 year retroactively from the date of your application.
Mm-hmm. And this is something just to note that we have to explain to our veteran clients as well. This is a big difference with the VA and Social Security. So we have to explain to not only our veteran clients but to all clients that if you allege you were disabled back in 2009 and you have the evidence to support that, if you didn't file until 2014, you're only going to get paid back the 12 months prior to your file date.
We have a lot of cases for veterans that They're no longer insured now. A lot of them come back from war, like with severe PTSD, so they don't want to have to do anything with anyone. And so they don't apply for benefits.
Right.
Several years pass, and then by the time they file, they're past their date last insured. And we'll do a whole other blog on that, because that's a very complicated topic. But all of this to say that they won't get benefits all the way back, but as long as we can prove that they were disabled prior to that date, they can still qualify for benefits. So that's a really good point.
Right. And a lot of things, the reason that I see veterans say that they don't apply for Social Security is because their VA is pending. What we want to encourage them to do is to go ahead and apply for Social Security while your VA is pending and let both process through.
Yeah, you don't have to apply for one or the other. You can apply for both at the same time.
Right.
All right, great. Well, we will talk more about different benefits and their entitlement dates and onset date. I think we're going to do our next one on onset dates because that's a really important topic.
Very.
So we'll see you next time. And if you have any questions in the meantime, visit our blog or call our office.
Thank you.